Okay, we'll get started. Thank you so much to everybody who's joined us today for this Lorega webinar on loss recovery insurance, and specifically why customers need help when they have to make an insurance claim. Just by way of housekeeping before we get started, if we could invite everyone please just to stay muted during the course of the presentation. This webinar is being recorded and we will send out a link to everybody. If you can just bear with us on that. The link will be sent out by Jess, our marketing manager. She's on leave this week, but when she gets back next week, she'll get that link sent out to everybody. If you have any questions at all as we go through the webinar, we'd invite you please to put them in the Q&A section, and then we'll address those questions when we get to the end. If you have any other particular comments, feel free to use the chat section. I am Andrew Kilgour, Director of Broker Relationships at Lorega. I'm joined today by my colleague, Andy Bibby, who is one of our Relationship Directors, and Andy and I will be jointly presenting this to you together. So by way of our agenda, we'll start first by looking at the advantages and benefits to you and your customers of working with Lorega, and then we'll focus on this specific topic of why it is that your customers need help when they need to make an insurance claim. I'll then turn over to Andy, who will walk us through the features and benefits of Lorega's loss recovery insurance product for your commercial customers and for your home customers. And as part of that, Andy would also share some claims stories, some claims examples of real incidents where we've helped customers to get through their difficult claims situation. And then I'll jump back in again and talk you through some of our broker support services. And then we'll just look at the next steps, things that you might like to do to increase your business and your work with Lorega. And if you have any questions, as we said, please post them into the Q&A and we'll address those when we get to the end. In terms of our learning objectives today for your CPD, hopefully, when we get to the end of this presentation, you will feel that Lorega is the right choice for you as a broker and for your customers. You'll have a good understanding of the key features of our loss recovery insurance product and the benefits of loss recovery insurance for you as the broker and for your customers. You'll have an understanding of how to transact policies with Lorega, how to report claims to us online, and also we'll be touching on the after the event service, our fee-paying expert help service for customers who don't buy loss recovery insurance but would still like help from Lorega when they need to make an insurance claim. And we'll also talk a little bit about our online learning portal where you can take lessons to increase your knowledge further about Lorega's products and services. From the feedback we receive from customers and brokers, we're confident in saying that Lorega is the UK's most respected, reassuring and caring claims expert. The important thing is that we work independently of insurance companies, supporting brokers' customers, supporting your customers when they need to make an insurance claim. And our aim is to provide advice that's friendly, the professional advice, the practical help, all the solutions and support that your customers might need, whether they're business customers or homeowners, to help them to get back up and running, back up and trading again when the unexpected happens, when that disaster occurs and they need to make an insurance claim. And we believe that all business and homeowners should have access to expert help and that that help should be affordable. Lorega is quite uniquely a dual chartered status business. Just a few years ago, we qualified for the CII's new corporate chartered title, which is that of Chartered Insurance Underwriting Agent. So this really demonstrates the importance that we place on professionalism in the way that we conduct ourselves, on training and competence, on diversity and inclusion and adherence to ethical standards. And also all of our claims handlers, all the people that will support your customers when they need to make an insurance claim are chartered loss adjusters. So they're all members of CILA, which is the Chartered Institute of Loss Adjusters. And as such, they're bound by the professional standards and the code of conduct of that institute. Lorega has a proven track record of delivering customer service excellence. Some of you, we know, have taken the time to vote for us over the years in the Insurance Times Broker Service surveys. We really appreciate that. Those surveys give you the opportunity to vote for insurers and MGAs who provide the best service to you and to your customers. And Lorega has consistently achieved a 5-star rating over 7 consecutive years. And we've always had top rankings within the survey as well. So we appreciate your recognition of us by voting for us. Also, over the past 5 years, we have a 95% overall satisfaction rate from our policyholders who have made a claim with us and have taken the time to complete our satisfaction survey. And we have very low levels of complaints across the many, many thousands of claims that we've dealt with for your customers. The levels of complaints are extremely low. And when there is a complaint, we take that very seriously and get involved and do everything that we can to sort out that situation to provide a positive and the right outcome for you and for your customers. So let's take some time then just to address this specific question of why it is that your customers might need help when they need to make an insurance claim. Well, as you know, disasters can strike at any time. The consequence of that disaster could be catastrophic. So it could be a fire, a flood, a storm, other adverse weather events, burst pipes, break-ins, thefts. All of these kind of incidents will be familiar occurrences to you. For your commercial customers, the most serious outcome could be the potential loss of their business, or perhaps their failure to ever get back to the same level of trading that they enjoyed prior to the loss taking place. For your home insurance customers, they could face significant disruption to their lifestyle, being perhaps out of their home for a really long period of time. So all of this can be really stressful for the customer, and trying to deal with their own claim, their own complex claim, is going to take a huge amount of time and be really difficult for them. If we just break that down a little bit further and look at some of the detail of that, the reality is that your customers are not going to be experts in insurance. They're not going to be experts in dealing with insurance claims. In fact, many customers will really struggle to understand and interpret their policy wording. They typically will not have the expertise necessary to prepare their insurance claim and to negotiate their insurance claim with the insurance company adjuster. In fact, a lot of the time, they just won't even know what information they need to provide to the insurance company. And of course, they're busy. They're busy people. They just don't have time to deal with an insurance claim. Turning sort of specifically to business customers, there's a huge amount of stress involved in recovering from a disaster. Let's say this business has experienced a fire. A massive amount of stress and time involved in trying to recover their business following that fire. Interestingly, even with the most catastrophic claims, it's unlikely that there will be a total loss of that business. So what that means is while the business owner is trying to recover their business, there are also parts of their business that still need to be managed. And on top of that, they may have to work extra hard to protect their customer base from their competitors who might seek to take advantage of their misfortune and target their customers. If all of that was not enough, unfortunately, we often see a very slow response from insurers and a slow response from their adjusters. So a slow response to correspondence and a slow response to getting insurers adjusters on site. It's often days and sometimes even weeks before we see the insurance company loss adjuster on site. We're seeing an increasing number of instances where there's underinsurance, policy coverage issues, all of which, of course, can impact on the final settlement. So what the customer needs here is somebody to be able to manage that very carefully for them, to minimize that impact, to make sure they're still getting the best available settlement. And customers, of course, just don't know how to go about doing that. They often don't know how to go about securing interim payments. They don't know what they're entitled to. They don't know the process of securing interim payments. They will need to get repair estimates. They don't know what to do. They don't know contractors who are going to give them estimates. If they do get estimates and insurers push back and say the estimate is not reasonable, the cost is not reasonable, they don't know what to do about that. They don't know how to negotiate in order to get agreement for the work to be done at the right price. And they may need to get into alternative premises or accommodation. And again, they don't know what they're entitled to, and they don't understand the process to go through in order to be able to get into alternative premises or accommodation. All of this creates massive stress and massive time pressures on the customer, whether they're a business customer or a home customer. If all of that wasn't enough, some claims just run on and on and on. They take far too long, in our opinion, to reach an acceptable settlement. And unfortunately, some customers just don't receive what they're entitled to. They don't receive a full and fair claim settlement from insurers. Those 2 points and the other issues that we've discussed can result, particularly for business customers, in them perhaps never fully recovering to the same level of trading again and potentially going out of business. And for those home insurance customers, just having months and months and months of being out of their home and all of the stress that that might cause. Now, unsurprisingly, given all of these issues, many of your customers, when they have a claim situation, will have an expectation that somebody is going to deal with all of this, that somebody is going to sort all of this out for them. And they may well have an unrealistic expectation that you, as their broker, will do everything for them. Now, of course, as their broker, you are going to give your customers all the support, all the help, all the advice, and all the guidance that you possibly can when they need to make an insurance claim. But you may not be able to do everything that the customer requires. For you, those of you on this call who are account executives and account handlers, you may find yourselves getting involved in claims. And that can detract from your main focus, which of course is to renew your customers, so renewal retention and finding new customers, your new business. That's really important to you. You may feel that you are not experts in dealing with claims, and you may feel that you don't have the time to deal with claims because of the time that you want to spend looking for new customers and renewing and retaining your existing customers. Those of you on this call who are in claims teams, you are also extremely busy. You're chasing insurers, and you know of the delays that you get and the issues that you have, certainly with some insurers, in getting responses from them. You will have customers on the phone to you all the time. These are the customers that don't understand the claims process, that are on the phone to you, asking you, what do I need to do? What's going to happen? Why is nothing happening? What can I do next? Taking up all of your time. And if the claim is complicated, if there's some really complex BI, for example, you may feel that your own expertise is stretched to the limit. So for those of you in claims teams, you may feel that you just cannot dedicate all of the time and all the resources to the customers that they might need when they need to make an insurance claim. Now, unfortunately, if the customer has a poor experience at the claim stage, even if it's nothing to do with you, you as a broker have done everything that you possibly can, but the claim has run on for a really long time. They've not had good service from the insurer. Perhaps they've not received the right settlement. There's been a lot of stress involved. If the customer has a poor claims experience, what do they do at renewal? Well, they start talking to other brokers, don't they? And potentially you could lose that customer because they've not had a good experience at the claim stage. In addition to that, there is, of course, a financial cost to you as the broker of managing claims. All of the time, all of the resources that you dedicate to claims handling come at a cost to your business. Now, it's important for you to support customers at the claim stage, and it's an important cost to your business when you do that, but we'd like to propose a better way for you. So I'm going to turn over now to my colleague, Andy Bibby, who is going to talk us through the solution to these issues, which is Lorega's loss recovery insurance product.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Okay, so what is loss recovery insurance? Some people on the call already would know what it is, but if you are aware of it, it's a nice refresher. So let's go straight into it on the top left-hand corner. So the loss recovery is an insurance policy which provides and pays the cost of a chartered loss adjuster to help policyholders in the preparation, negotiation, and the settlement of their claims. It really isn't rocket science, but if you noticed, I emphasize the word loss adjuster. We're not loss assessors. Please don't get us mixed up with those people. We are chartered independent loss adjusters. So the policy is paying the fees of that chartered loss adjuster. Very quickly, we have a panel of about 40 independent chartered loss adjusters dotted around the country. So a nice widespread from Land's End to John O'Groats. And it does provide unlimited expert advice and assistance. We're never going to turn around to your client and say you've run out of money, you've run out of time. That will never happen. Once we're on board, we will be there until the final check is paid. It does actually have a true 24-hour, 7-day-a-week UK-wide service. And yes, we do sometimes get phone calls at 3 o'clock in the morning. A human voice will pick it up and the ball will start rolling straight away. It helps with commercial property, material damage, business interruption claims, and home buildings and contents claims. There are two separate products. There's one commercial and one high net worth product, but it's exactly the same. What I'm saying here is exactly the same for commercial and high net worth. And the policy responds to losses from 5k to no upper limit. So we don't get involved in any smaller claims than £5,000. We hope that the insurance companies are pretty speedy on that. They don't even send a loss adjuster out. They may just ask for some photographs. So all those small claims under 5k, we don't get involved in. But once it hits 5k, that's where the policy kicks in. And I said about no upper limit. So if you had a £250 million shopping mall that's gone up in flames, it would not faze us whatsoever. And of course, the whole point of this is removing the hassle of your customers having to quantify and negotiate their own claim. Basically what Andrew just said, you know, it's the stress and the time that it takes. So we can take that hassle away from the customer. So some of the benefits for the policy holders, it's that fast response at the time of crisis. And really, this is where the policy shines. Andrew alluded to the fact that we are seeing, and this is not a new thing, our loss adjusters are seeing the adjusters from the insurance companies take up to 3 weeks sometimes to get out on site. At Lorega, our turnaround is within 24 hours or the next working day. It's really up to the client, but we can sometimes be there quicker, but 24 hours is our turnaround time. And that's where this product shines. Having an independent chartered loss adjuster standing on your client's doorstep, giving them a bit of a cuddle and the reassurance that everything's going to be okay, that's where this product really shines. We'll do the loss mitigation advice. How many times do we get on in claims where there's get on site and there's a flood and they still haven't turned their stopcock off, all silly little things like that, but we can help with that. We'll do all of the professional claims formulation and negotiation with the insurance company, providers, tying that all together, taking all that stress away from the client. We're looking here to get the fastest and fairest settlement. We're not here to make anything up. We're not here to inflate costs. We are only there to make sure that your client gets the best settlement under the terms of their policy. It's what they pay their insurance for. It's what they expect. Of course, it's reducing the times and cost of dealing with the claim. You know, as Andrew has already said, we know you do a fantastic job when it comes to claims. You'll bend over backwards for your clients. You'll do everything. But being able to have us on board and reducing the time and the cost, it does help. And also avoids paying for the fees for after the event help. You know, so it means that the client doesn't feel they have to go to an assessor. You know, we all know how assessors earn their money on final settlement fees. We've seen anything from 8 to 15% of a final settlement fee. So you can do your sums on an after event, after an assessor being involved. And it also avoids the client having to come back to us, Lorega, using our after event service. So something we've done for many years, and we'll allude to that in a minute. It's all about business survival. It's making sure that when that business does have that catastrophic fire, flood, theft, whatever it is, we make sure that business stays afloat and keeps going. It's minimizing the disruption to the lifestyle for the policyholder. It means they haven't got to sit there every evening poring over their accounts, trying to work out business interruption figures. We can take that all away from the client. And the key thing about this is that peace of mind. I've got a great broker looking after me. I've now got a great independent loss adjuster at Lorega now handling my claim. It does give peace of mind to policyholders. Benefits for you guys? Well, of course, it's reducing the time and cost of claims handling. And it doesn't matter if you have a claims person, claim persons, or a whole claims team. We're not taking that emphasis away from you. We know you do a great job, but look at it as an extension of your already good claim service that you give your client. Exceptional claim service for your client, as I mentioned, and protecting client relationships. Well, this goes hand in hand with the next one. It's helping you retain and win new clients. If they have a great experience with you and they turn around and say, Mr. and Mrs. Broker, you were fantastic. You sent that independent loss adjuster out. They handled my claim brilliantly. I'm a happy bunny. Why would I look anywhere else at renewal? Sounds a little bit cheesy. We hope it's the way clients think. And of course, there's an additional revenue opportunity. We pay a commission on every single policy you sell. So there is a great additional revenue opportunity there. There are some exclusions. I'm not going to go through all of these. You can have a quick scan down them. You know, pretty straightforward. We will be sending you this presentation, so you will be able to see these. If you wish to investigate them any further, they're in our terms and conditions on our website as well. Okay, so I'm just going to go through 2 or 3 claims examples. I'm going to probably zip through these quite quickly because I'm bearing on mind on the time. So if we look at the first one, it's actually quite close to my heart because my best friend owns exactly the same sort of garage. So this is your little independent garage. You take your car there to have it serviced, MOT'd, oil change, whatever. And unfortunately, what happened on the top left-hand photograph, halfway through the night, I don't think it was ever proved, we think it was a customer had come back, half a gallon of petrol, poured it through the front door, which is that aperture you can see. And as you can see by all of those photographs, it burnt the place to the ground. I mean, proper devastation, nothing left, everything burnt out. You've got customers' cars in the on the ramps and in the workshop. So we turned up very, very quickly within 24 hours. In fact, I think on this case, we were there within 6 or 7 hours. And we got there and the poor proprietor was standing there and he didn't know what to do. Now, he'd spoken to his broker, obviously, and started the claim rolling, but he had been told that the loss adjuster from, it was an insurer, and I'm not going to mention it now because I actually can't remember, but it was going to take 7 days before that loss adjuster from the insurance company can, find the time to come out and see him. We were there within 6 or 7 hours and we started the ball rolling straight away. One of the first things our loss adjuster did was, can we get them into alternative premises? Now, of course, there's nothing there. He's lost everything, but is it something we can do? It's going to be problematic because this gentleman ran MOTs from here and you can't just set yourself up anywhere. But the other thing that we did is we settled him down and we said, we gave him the reassurance that we can move this quite quickly. The third thing that we did was just say, right, let's walk around the entire premises, the internal side of the premises, and just get a schedule of loss. What was in this corner? There was a oil machine there, there was a bench press there, and all those sort of things that would be within the garage. And we got a nice long list of loss that we could get straight to the insurance company and get some cash flow moving into the business straight away. Now, we did get him into alternative premises just down the road. It was a small lockup, and it meant that he could just carry on with his business. But very skeleton staff. I'm going to say he couldn't do his MOTs, he couldn't do major work, but he could do a couple of oil change. But he could keep the customer base steady because the last thing he wanted to do is everyone clear off to the competitors in the area. So the customers are extremely happy with the service. In the background, we arranged for it to be completely torn down and rebuilt. It did take a few months, but the client was over the moon that we could be holding their hand from day one until the final check is paid. Second case study is a fire in an Indian restaurant. Now, this Indian restaurant was actually attached to a hotel down in Exeter. They'd had a fire, and you can see, the mess. I mean, it wasn't a complete burnout, but it caused a lot of damage. The fire originated in the extractor fans, as it usually does, and yes, I had been checked. So it caused a lot of damage, a lot of smoke damage. Once again, our loss adjuster was appointed. We were on site very, very quickly within the 24 hours. And another case of where the insurance company turned around and said, we just haven't got the adjusters free at the moment. They're tied up with something else. And it took a number of days. I don't actually remember how long it was, but it wasn't very quick. Anyway, we're on site within 24 hours. And the hotel manager was extremely worried because although it says an Indian restaurant, it also catered for the breakfast, lunches and dinners at the hotel and any functions that they would have had in the diary. So the proprietor was extremely worried. Will I have to shut the hotel down? Absolute nightmare. First thing our loss adjuster said, don't worry, we've been involved in a very, very similar claim quite recently up north. We're going to do exactly the same for you as we've done for this other customer. So the first thing our loss adjuster did, we liaised with the insurance companies, absolutely fine. We arranged for an outside catering unit to be lifted into the car park. Now, when I'm saying outside catering unit, I'm not talking about a burger van. I'm talking about, think of a shipping container, a posh shipping container, fully kitted out with all the catering equipment that you'd need to run a restaurant. That was arranged and that was lifted into the car park within 4 days. So the client only lost 4 days of trading because they could carry on doing lunches, breakfast, dinners, and any parties and get-togethers that they had in the diary. It meant that they could carry on with their business. We arranged for that to be done straight away. So the only downside is they would be walking across the car park with the food, but it was a small price to pay. On the background of that, of course, we arranged for all of these, all of this to be cleaned up because a lot of it wasn't damaged beyond repair. top right-hand corner, a big grill machine, a broiler, as the Americans would call it. There's nothing wrong with it. It just needs specialist cleaners to come in and clean it, get it back up to spec. So just, examples there is the fact that we're there really, really quickly. We think outside the box. We get the outside catering unit in. It means that the business can stay afloat. The customer's over the moon that they only lost four days of trading. The last one is just a case study. Now, there's no sort of many photographs with this, but I'm going to zip through the description here. So this was an extensive water damage to a high net worth household. So the loss was handled by Lorega on a fee-paying after the event basis. So this wasn't under the loss recovery insurance. This was an after the event service, as the customer had not purchased loss recovery insurance. So the property was a very, very nice large family home with valuable furnishings and quite a lot of artwork in there as well. The owner was abroad on holiday over the Christmas period and trying to avoid the extended cold snap in the UK, which I think they'd all like to do. But unfortunately, when they returned, they found a scene of total devastation caused by severe weather damage. The damage was caused by a shower pump in the loft space, which had frozen despite them leaving the heating on. So you can imagine over a 3-week period, water gushing through the whole property. It was an absolute mess. With the extent of the damage, some of the difficulties in communicating with insurers and their brokers, it was a total nightmare. The broker recommended to Lorega to manage the claim, and a fee was agreed. Within hours of instruction, Lorega chartered loss adjuster was on site and organised the undamaged contents to be removed and securely stored. Specialist drying contractors were appointed and work began the next working day. So really quick, getting dehumidifiers and specialist dryers in. The timeliness of response mitigated what would have been a far greater loss for the insured and achieved a faster settlement of the claim. In response to that, just finishing this up, in response to that, the client was over the moon and they sent us back a really nice feedback. I'm going to read it for you now very quickly. We were at our wits' end before we appointed Lorega. They took charge and managed the entire claims process and remedial work on our behalf. Their service was first rate and a tremendous help. I would highly recommend them to anyone. So there's a good feedback from an elderly couple that was in a right mess when they came back from their Christmas break. Just going on a few more of the feedback that we get. We promise we didn't write these ourselves. These are true feedback. So your loss adjuster who handled the claim was extremely professional throughout the entire process. My claims handler was friendly and approachable. I felt he had my back at all times. And this last one, we promise we didn't make it up. Your loss adjuster was astonishingly good, helpful, efficient, and the right amount of friendliness. Best insurance experience I've ever had. And let's face it, we don't usually hear those sort of words mentioned when people are having, painful claims experience.
Great, thanks very much, Andy. So we'll just carry on now by looking at some of the broker support services offered by Lorega. So first of all, in terms of the transaction process, I'm sure most of you will be aware of this anyway, but our products are available on the Acturis platform. So if you're an Acturis user, then that would be the best way to access our product. If you're not an Acturis user, then we make our products available on the Lorega online quote and buy platform. Both of those platforms are very easy to use. They provide full cycle fulfillment. That means that you can provide a quote to your customer through the system. If the customer wants to buy the product, you can go online and bind the cover, and then you can produce electronic documents for the customer. And as soon as that customer is on cover on your system, they'll be on the Lorega system, so we immediately know that they are on cover with us. If you want any support and help in getting to grips with these platforms, we do have some user guides that we can make available and send through to you. If you'd like a training session, then our colleagues in the underwriting team are always happy to jump on a Zoom call or a Teams call to run a short training session on how to use the platform. Claims are reported on our Lorega Online portal, the first notification of loss section of that portal. So that means that you can report claims to us 24/7, any time of the day or night. You can go online and report claims to us. It's very straightforward. When you do report the claim, we ask you to provide as much information as you possibly can, to include any documents such as the underlying policy schedule. If there are any photographs of the loss, you can upload those. If the customer happens to have already received a repair estimate from contractors, you can include that as well. Everything that you upload to our claims portal is immediately accessible by our claims team. And when the claims team has appointed a specific chartered loss adjuster to manage that claim, then all of that information is also accessible and visible to the adjuster. Again, we can provide a user guide, or we can give a little training session on the F&OL system. If you're in the claims team and you'd like to organise a training session on this for yourselves and your colleagues, then we'd be more than happy to arrange that for you. Andy mentioned the after the event service, and I mentioned it myself at the beginning as well. There will be times when customers report claims to you and they do not have a loss recovery insurance policy. So that means they're not going to get all the help and support from Lorega with nothing to pay because they bought a loss recovery policy. The fact that they don't have a loss recovery policy means we need to treat this slightly differently. We can still help these customers, but we do it on what we call our Lorega Expert after the event service. It's the same loss adjusters acting in exactly the same way, providing the same very high standards of claims service. But the difference is that the customer will pay a fee for those services. It may be an hourly rate, it may be a percentage of final settlement, it may be a specifically agreed fee for the services that we're going to provide. Just talk to us about that. This service is available for property, material damage and business interruption claims, the same as our loss recovery policy. But additionally, we can provide support for liability claims that are not covered under the loss recovery policy. We work with a partner adjusting firm who are specialists in liability claims. So if you do have customers with an EL, PL, products liability claim, and they need some help in getting a claim paid, or they need some help in defending against a claim, then please contact us to see if we can provide support for that. We also get involved in what we call file audit services. These are particularly good if you have customers that have a claim that's on the go. Maybe it's a claim that took place some time ago. It's still going on. It's just dragging on. Maybe insurers have offered a very low settlement. Maybe insurers are looking like they're going to repudiate. Maybe the customer is just really, really struggling to deal with that claim. You're giving them some help and support, but they just need more. In those instances, we would be happy to get involved. We charge a fee, a small fee, for reviewing the claim file. We can then give an expert opinion on whether we think the insurer's stance is fair and reasonable, whether we think what's been offered by insurers is fair and reasonable, and whether we think we can achieve a better outcome for the customer. And if we do think we can achieve more and achieve a better outcome and get to that very quickly, then we'll offer our services to the customer for a fee, and we can get involved and help them to get their claim settled, help them to carry on trading as a business. If you would like to talk to us about this, then please just get in touch. If you're thinking right now about a particular claim that's ongoing, that's really difficult, and you'd like Lorega to get involved, please contact us so that we can talk to you about the support and help that we can give to you and to your customers to get that claim settled. I mentioned earlier our online training portal. This is called Lessonly. We partnered with Lessonly a number of years ago, and they've been very good. We've built a loss recovery insurance lesson path on Lessonly. It's divided up into 6 small modules that you can take in your own time. There are also lessons on there about claim stories and case studies and other things that you might find useful, particularly if you need to build up your CPD points and time. These can be accessed from any mobile or desktop or handheld device. So please, if you'd like to access those lessons, please get in touch with us. All we need is your name and email address, and we can get you set up. And hopefully then you can gain more knowledge and more information about the products and services provided by Lorega. Please also have a look at our website, which is lorega.com. There's lots of good information on there about our products and services that might help you as you're talking to customers. We have a growing library of case studies on the website, which you can download as PDF documents. You're more than welcome to share those with your customers. We also have a couple of short animated videos on the website. One of them explains what loss recovery insurance is and how it helps customers. The other one explains the role of the Lorega Chartered Loss Adjuster and how they will help your customers in the event of a claim. So please have a look at those. If you would like to share either of those videos with your customer, they are also on YouTube. If you get in touch with us, we can send you a link to YouTube so that you can share that link with your customers. And if you're involved in social media, if you like to use social media, please follow us, please subscribe. We use LinkedIn all the time. We don't use X, formerly Twitter, quite so often, but we sometimes post content there. But certainly on LinkedIn, we're posting content at least 3 times a week. We will post case studies, quotes and feedback from customers, little videos and stories and other information that hopefully will be helpful and useful to you in the process of selling loss recovery insurance to your customers and working through those claims processes with them. Okay, just as we draw things to a close now, 1 or 2 other things just to look at. So in terms of the learning objectives, hopefully Andy and I have covered all of this. So we really would like you to feel at the end of this presentation that Lorega is the right choice for you as a broker and the right choice for your customers. Hopefully you have a good understanding of the key features and benefits of loss recovery insurance for you as a broker and for your customers. We've touched only briefly on the transaction and claims reporting processes. So as I mentioned earlier, if you'd like a user guide or if you'd like a specific training presentation on how to use those platforms, please do get in touch. And we've talked briefly as well about the after the event service. And again, I would say if you need some help there with a claim, just let us know. And if you'd like to get involved with our online training portal, drop us a line with your name and email address and we'll get you set up for that. So in terms of next steps, really, just 3 things here that you might like to consider. If you are a broker already selling our loss recovery insurance products, and I'm sure that probably applies to most people on the call, but if you're already selling and you would like to be able to sell more, if you can see the value of this for your customers, you'd like to be able to sell to more customers, get in touch with us. We're always happy to provide training. We love to do it face-to-face. We're happy to do it on Zoom and Teams, but we love to do it face-to-face. So we'd be very happy to come into your office and provide some more specific training to you and your teams. If you are a broker on this call that's not currently using Lorega, but you'd like to get involved, you'd like to set up an agency, again, drop us a line. We can talk to you about agency facilities. We can provide you with a TOBA that you can sign and then get involved in selling our products. And I've said, I think about 3 times already now, if you're a broker that has a customer right now who you know needs assistance with a claim, get in touch. We'd be delighted to talk to you and to talk to your customer to provide information about what we can do to help. This is Lorega's good-looking broker relationships team. You have Andy and myself here on the call, but I'm sure many of you will know our other colleagues as well. So Andy looks after our brokers in the South. Andy's the relationship director for brokers in the South. Andy, you've been with us, I think, for about 12 years now.
I have.
Richard Lee is our relationship director in the North, looking after our brokers in the North and Scotland. Richard's been with us, I think, for 7 or 8 years. Anne Jackson, many of you will know, Anne's our relationship director in the Midlands. Anne has just completed her 20 years of service with Lorega. I'm just a few months behind Anne, so I'm on 19 years and a bit. And I say this just so that you can see the longevity of the Lorega broker relationships team. We've been doing this for a really long time, supporting brokers and helping brokers. And Jess is our lovely marketing manager. So if you need case studies or access to those short animated videos or any other information to help you in the sales process, please get in touch with Jess. We've put our email addresses on here. Please do email us if you have any particular queries. Many of our other colleagues sit in our office in London. There's a 24/7 phone number through to our colleagues, and as Andy mentioned, it will always be answered by a human being. Please contact us if you have any particular queries. And then I've given you some key email addresses there. Our underwriting team are there to help you if you have queries about quotes and rates, product cover, using Acturis, using the Lorega online system. So if you need help with anything there, please do get in touch with underwriters@lorega.com. Our claims team are there to help you. As we've said, claims should be reported to us on our FNOL portal. But if you then want to talk to us about a claim that's ongoing, if you need some help with that FNOL portal, you can contact us at claims@lorega.com. And if your query relates in some way to accounts, settlement or payment terms, then please contact accounts@lorega.com. And that brings us to the end of our presentation. So thank you so much for being with us today. We'll have a look now. I can see a couple of people have raised their hands. Let's see if we have anything in the Q&A.
I picked up one Q&A, Andrew, that someone just mentioned, will we be sending out a copy of the presentation, which they probably just missed it before you mentioned it earlier on. So yes, we will be sending out a copy of this. Are we any timescales on that, Andrew?
Well, as I said, Jess will be sending it out. Jess, our marketing manager, she's on annual leave this week, but Jess is back next week. And when Jess comes back next week, then she will be sending that presentation out to everyone pretty quickly with a link through. Also going out to all of those people that were not able to attend. So if you had colleagues that registered, but for some reason or other were not able to be on the presentation today, we'll also send it out to them so that they'll be able to watch it in their own time. That's it in terms of questions. So hopefully we did a good job in answering everything as we went through the presentation. We do know a lot of you on the call, a lot of you know us, a lot of you we know have been selling the loss recovery insurance policy for a long time, which we greatly appreciate. And as we've already said, we want to work with you, we want to support you, we want to help you to be able to sell more of this to your customers. We want to be able to help you to give your customers the very best possible experience in the event of a claim. So if there's anything that we can do to support and help going forwards, please do get in touch with us. Give us a phone call, send us an email. If you're using LinkedIn, our LinkedIn post today featured a map of the country showing the areas covered by myself, Andy, Richard and Anne. We've given you our email addresses and our mobile phone numbers on that LinkedIn post as well. So if you want to get in touch, have a look at that. Please do drop us a line, and anything that we can do to support you and help you, we'd be absolutely delighted to do. And so I think if there are no further questions, thanks everyone so much for joining us today. Have a great rest of the week, and we hope that we'll see you very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you later, guys. Bye-bye.